Hey, Taurus. So, those who can see that you see show you something else. So, maybe don't be as communicative to everything you can point out. First of all, people deserve to have their secrets and privacy. You don't have to call it out all the time. That's for their well being. As for your well being, when you do that, you attract heat you don't necessarily want to attract. And this month of September is going to get very creative in how you see and how you create. Focus on what you have to do for yourself, for your path, for your life. And let the people in your life be. It's important that this month you let them be. I mean, if they come to you and ask you a question, of course. But be wise when it comes to the things you say, and don't be tempted to say everything out of a desire to show that you know. Okay. So, hi, seekers. Welcome to September. This is a reading for Taurus seekers, or anyone who stumbles in and just wants to hang out. That's cool. Hi. I'm working with the Rider-Waite Tarot. Ten of Wands. Too much for you to deal with than to take on other people's stuff. As soon as you tell them that you can see something, in a way, directly or vicariously, you make it your own. Because then they expect of you to be like, okay, well, now what? Okay, you pointed out this thing in me. Now what do I do? Why do you just make me aware of it without telling me what to do? Or the opposite, they get upset and they don't want you to tell them anything. And then it becomes a burden of, their resentment or their fear. Oh my God, Taurus sees into me. I lost my privacy. Who am I now? What do I need to, walk on my toes and be super cautious, and I can't be myself because and they flip in their head. They flip and they overcomplicate it. Be kind to yourself and to them, and speak what needs to be spoken. When you learn how to see things, you also learn the hard way that it's not yours to know everything that goes on in other people's lives. And you have that gift, but then you need to be respectful and honoring of the fact that, people don't always want to be called out. They don't always need to be called out. And you learn to keep some things to yourself out of respect for them and out of safety for you. And it's confusing at first, but then it becomes a second nature. And then it makes people feel safer with you and at ease with you, which they are worthy of. No one ever wants to be constantly nitpicked at. And then your relationships improve. And then your relationships improve. The Tower. The process to that will result in a few people or one person being like, Taurus, I can't do this anymore. It's too much for me. I can't carry all of this. And it can be you, especially given this conversation. it can be something that you just can't carry anymore. To know what you know, but also talk about it and express it and have them react to it, and it being a conversation, and instead of being their friend or their lover, you're now their shrink. It breaks down their system, perhaps in a good way, in order to establish something new and healthier. However, it also breaks down your relationship with them, because people can't not project, even though they should not project it onto you, and they should separate, make a separation between what you see about them and what you point out and how it helps them evolve and heal and change versus the connection with you and who you are. Yes, there is a separation. It's not the same things, but they can't make that separation. People always shoot the messenger. It's not because they're bad. It's not because they're stupid. It's because when you press the right buttons, it triggers a response, and then you're the closest thing. So by default, you take in the response. You will have, or maybe you are having right now, this sort of experience. I've said this before and I'll say this again. Pomegranate tea is delicious. There will be someone special to whom you can show that you see Taurus. But even with them, let them have their breaks. And also keep in mind that sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you project your own life experience and stuff. The Fool. So, for the sake of humility and open mindedness and open heart, and understanding that this existence is infinite and all souls are infinite in them and of themselves, and sometimes you see just enough to think you are right, but not enough to know you are wrong. It is very relieving and calming to realizing that you also have your subjective sight. And even though what you see is true, it is likely that is a portion of a way bigger truth, that if you had the context and other aspects of it, you might have thought differently. 8 of Pentacles. And it guides you to working on yourself. And yes, you've done the work on yourself, and that is what enables you to see what others can, should, want to do. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how aware you are, or how experienced you are, or how capable you are to carry the loads of the world, you're still just a human being. You're breathing, you're eating, you're sleeping, you're a human being, and you have your boundaries. We all do. So there's always work to be done. There's always more to aspire to. This journey is broad and infinite, and we don't know if there's a beginning or an end, like the 0 of the Fool. We're not supposed to know if there's a beginning or an end. It drives us insane, and yet it's just what it is. If we knew, we would not be doing the things we need to do. Cheers. So some things, some senses of responsibility, expectations of people, of life will break down, and you'll be liberated and you'll feel relieved, and then you'll get to work. You'll get to work on your creativity that I started earlier saying, and you'll get to work on the things that matter to you, and you'll get to work on your money and on your look and on your health and on your whatever. And you'll find a lot of joy and satisfaction in it. When you realize that you're not expected or even in need to constantly look at the outside, and you can just focus on the little things that you're doing right now, like drinking your tea, watching your favorite show, Knight of Wands, going for a fun walk, doing the mundane things with reverence, as opposed to thinking or feeling like there's something bigger you're supposed to be doing right now. This is the big thing that you're supposed to be doing right now. The small. Gods are in the details. Before enlightenment, a man carries water, chops wood. After enlightenment, a man carries water, chops wood. Just do the daily tasks with reverence, with joy, and you'll see how the big magic will manifest on its own. You won't have to search for it. You won't have to manifest it. You won't have to create it actively. It will be vicariously created by you putting reverence into the detail that form the structure of magic and big, wonderful events. Ooh, confirmation to what I'm saying, Page of Pentacles. How's your money doing? How's your health? How's your wardrobe? How's your hair? Nine of Wands, Knight of Swords, and Seven of Cups. Do you like your mugs? I'm not joking. The little things. Focus on them. And don't worry. Hang in there. Focus on the things I told you to focus on. Advised you. The swirl of fantastical events, surprises, and adventures will happen on their own and come to you. Okay? This is going out for a walk, minding your business, doing your thing, listening to your podcast, just hanging out, and stumble into a movie set. And all the magic unfolds in front of you. And maybe you happen to be an actor. You speak to the assistant director, and maybe they need someone. And it doesn't really work like that in the movie industry, and you have to go through casting. It's just an example, but you know what I mean. The magic and the stuff, the big stuff this month, are not going to come from you pursuing them. They're going to come from you doing the detailed work that is relevant to you, to your daily life, and to your job, and to your relationship. And then these will come to you. Quite surprisingly. Mm. This is actually an existential shift mug. Seeker, seer, existential shifter. I designed a lot of merchandise, all kinds, from mugs to hoodies to wall art. Check them out. It's on Teespring below the video. The link is below the video. Anyway, just thought I'll let you know, you know? Just thought I'll let you know. Show me more for Taurian seekers of the world. The moon card. Look, if you'll try to make sense of anything this month that doesn't make sense to you, it will just confuse you more. The energy is purposeful about it. It wants you to just be in your important, immediate acts. Do you have the best deal on your car insurance? Call your insurance. Are you signed up only to the streaming services that you like, or are you paying $5 here, $12 there, da, 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 and it adds up and you're not even using them? Go over it. Is the person that you're obsessing over, should you be with them? Should you not be with them? Are they even around? Is it even being built? Is there even a point to you thinking about it? What is poignant and important for this moment? Your future wants to come to you, Taurus, and it can only do so if you are very adamant now on focusing on your present. And for a creature who can see, this confusion thing is very disturbing. I get it. I know you're like, but why can't I see around the corner? I always can see around the corner. Because if you'll see what's around the corner now, you might not do what you're doing right now, and that will sabotage it somehow. Well, I want to roll with rhymes today. Sorry, I was just having a moment with myself. Have these moments with yourself, okay? This is a messy reading. I'm not gonna. The reason why I'm so guided to give you this guidance is because if you don't focus on the details, you're gonna get a headache this month. One thing at a time. Not because it's going to be a whirlwind of stuff. I mean, most of them, it's things that you'll be tempted to create in your head and then give yourself a headache. And then the things that will come to you that you'll need to resolve because you were busy chewing up your mind and giving yourself a headache, you didn't deal with that thing that you could have dealt with, and now it's a thing, right? Show me more, please. I want to know more about this Moon, Seven of Cups, Knight of Swords energy. What's up? What's up? Two of Swords. Some of you are in a situation, could be work, could be relationship, anything that is a situation in your that you rather stay in absolute confusion, conundrum, emotional distraught, anxiety over admitting that it's not working. Because to you, it will be admission of alleged failure. What? The only thing I would define somehow as failure is staying somewhere that makes you miserable because of your ego. Life is very short, Taurus. Even if we have reincarnations and infinity, still, the life that you're in now, the avatar that you are, the person, the name, the heart, the environment, the story of you, very, very, very short. All of this is bullshit. You insisting on holding on to misery because you don't want to admit alleged defeat. There's no defeat in letting go and moving on to the next thing that could make you happy as opposed to something that no longer makes you happy. It's very simple. You do it all the time, every day. I don't know what is it about this thing that makes you hold on to it. It could be something that kind of has a hold on something that either happened to you when you were a kid or a perception that you've developed when you were young that somehow trickles into the now in this situation, and you feel like letting go of this person or of this job or of this place will somehow make you let go of safety or who you're supposed to be, or you got to get rid of the mind chatter in your head that isn't yours. Okay? That inner voice that is actually your parents, that you think it's your inner voice, but it's them telling you how they think things should be, you know? Or your society, or your teacher, or whatever, or something you saw on television when you were 5 and you have no idea how deeply it affected you and you made it your own. Whatever it is. There's a story that you tell yourself that you're holding on to for dear life, and it makes you anxious and miserable and confused, and you don't deserve that because you are a seer in essence, but you kept your psyche's eyes closed because of a pain of some sort. And when your psyche's eyes closed, but your third eye is open, the information comes, but you can't process it. And it just becomes a swirl of energy inside of you that you don't understand. Arya from Game of Thrones gained all of her powers when she renounced her name. A girl has no name, or a girl with no name. When she became an empty vessel without a story. Now, later on in the narrative, in the story, she reclaimed her name. However, she was able to reclaim her name because now she has the knowledge, the power, the skill, the sight, the insight to be safe in that name and to not be only defined by that name. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of your story in order to survive that story once and if you return to it. And it's not to be confused with, oh, you'll leave that person to get back to them, or you'll leave that job to get back to it, or you'll leave that neighborhood to get back to it. No, it's a philosophical statement. You will leave that person who embodies what you think your love should look like, or a relationship should look like, and so on and so forth, in order to regain knowledge of what you truly seek in a relationship or in romance or in love. Same applies to your career aspirations, to your jobs, to that place. Let's look at these cards and perform the existential shift spread. Okay. If you want to deepen your relationship with the existential shift and learn more, deepen your esoteric knowledge and shamanic journey, spiritual journey, check out Patreon. Link is below. I also am posting for unlimited streaming my tarot masterclass there. That is exciting. And regardless, there are many other things in the description box if you want to know the ways in which you can connect, show gratitude if you wish, and so on and so forth. Choose what works for you best, okay, Taurus? The court cards. Now, do we have any repetition in the minor arcana? 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, but we have a chronological process, but it's still not something I will focus on. I will focus on the repetition and the major arcanas. Okay, let's look at this month. Maybe I'll clarify. We'll see what comes through. The Fool, the Tower, and the Moon. It was the other way around. Came up this way, right? It was first the Tower, then the Fool, then the Moon. Thank you. Gaining freedom after something breaks down that needs to be broken down. Gaining freedom from it confuses the hell out of you because it gave you a sense of structure. It gives you the illusion of a systematic existence. This could be how you present yourself. This literally could be the style of clothing or your hairstyle or the way you walk. It could be as simple as that, but it can also be your career path, or it can be your set of beliefs, how you view the world, how you view society, how you view leadership, government. Something breaks down. What you thought was solid and true collapses. And here you are. It's a miracle, absolute freedom from that nonsense. You get to exert your infinite divine wisdom. You're free. You can go anywhere. Oh, but what now that there isn't a dogma, a structure to tell me wrong versus right and where to go and if to go, where do I go? It's like people constantly talk about wanting to be free of karma. You know, karma gives us fated events and relationships and situations. We just kind of go from one event to another, and it gives us, meaning and journey and a roadmap. But then once we go into dharma and free of karma, when free choice is actually applicable, as opposed to the illusion of free choice, okay, well, what do I want? Because there's no more karmic relationship that you have to go through in order to learn, process, evolve, and let go of. Now you can just meet whoever you want to meet, and maybe they weren't with you somehow in a past lifetime. Maybe they're just new, a new soul to turn into a soulmate. Well, that's new, exciting, terrifying. What do you do with that? Or maybe the faith structure that you had. What is God? How is God? What is spirit? It breaks down. You learn other things. You realize that you were, you know, you knew one truth, but you didn't have context to other truths. Maybe you started studying history and you realized that your religion actually somehow took symbolism, knowledge from a prior religion or prior faith or a prior culture, and it's not original to its revelations, rather, it's cultural appropriation. And now you're not certain. Should you study the former culture that was actually the source of this truth that you loved about this type of faith that you thought was the faith, but now you're like, wait, but you took it from them? This beautiful phrases that's actually originally from them, from people who came before? What do I do with that? Okay, I love the knowledge, but if you're not the origin of this knowledge, why was I praising you when I should have been praising them? Whatever. It could be as simple as you work at a company that you really like their mission or their product, but then you find out that they uh, copied or stole rights from someone else who was the original, you know, maker or inventor. And you're like, why am I working for you? I work for the, I came here for the idea, but you're not really the idea. You're just a plastic, you know, rebranding of that idea. I'm going to go to the place that is the source of the idea, or I'm going to seek something of my own, you know? And it's okay that September you don't know yet. It's okay that you're feeling a little lost with all of this newfound freedoms and opportunities and people, and suddenly there's room in your life, Taurus, for different events, for different people, for different languages, for different experiences, and you are advised to say yes, to explore, to experience, but not from a mindset that knows it all, from a beginner's mind that is in for the adventure. And maybe you'll come out at the other end being like, I still think what I think, or I knew the right thing. And maybe you'll come out being like, it was completely wrong. There's something else out there. Or maybe it will be a pleasant, inspiring, creative integration of both what you knew and what you've learned. But you gotta snap out of this protecting what you've been carrying that hasn't been giving you much, that has been confusing to you, that is a result of childhood issues or denial or fear or whatever. Sometimes people need to be told who God is because they're terrified of talking to God themselves. And instead of admitting that they're terrified to talking to God themselves, they'll be like, no, it's forbidden. I'm not supposed to talk to them myself. I'm supposed to go to this priest or to this whatever. I'm not here to tell you that you have to go through me to speak to God or divinity or anything. I'm just a bridge. I'm helping with the interpretation, with the language, you know, to hopefully that you learn how to speak a similar language that is, you know, good for you, that it works for you, and then you can have that conversation with yourself and with your and with spirit. It's also part of the reason why I decided to upload Tarot Masterclass to Patreon instead of continuing with the extendeds. Nothing wrong with the extendeds, but I kept feeling like I'm just feeding you every month with fish, and I want to teach you how to fish. I don't want anyone to fish, these poor fish. But but you're getting my picture. I should find a different example. I always give that example, and then I have to clarify that I don't want you to actually fish. And it's like, okay, Morgane, again. When you break down the illusion of system, your actual inner system, your inner engine, your psyche comes out in play because it's no longer suppressed and confined by rules and regulations of some sort. So it's free to play and kind of come up to the surface, right? When the fishermen leave the shore, the fishy come out and play. You feel more comfortable. I love those videos where you see a dog playing with the fish, like through the water. Cutest thing. It shows you the truth of love, you know? So when you're not confined by whatever rules and regulations of your consciousness, however it applies, faith, love, romance, career, da 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 da, da, then your true self is coming out and be like, can I talk now? Can I play now? Can I be? Can I be? Is it safe? And your sight and your consciousness and your brain is like, who the hell are you? Oh, I'm you. Did you not know me? You've been too busy seeing other people that you weren't seeing yourself. And then ironically, you didn't even actually ended up seeing them because you were open about seeing them. So they got shy and they got a little bit, feeling the need to protect themselves. So they changed or they turned their back or they kind of phased out. And it's not because they can't handle the truth or they don't love the truth or they're liars or deceivers. No, it's because people need their sense of privacy and their ability to have just one or two secrets. Everything is right here. I love you, Taurus, and I'll see you soon.